Gurupoornima is the day where most of our scriptures or all our scriptures have been written. Vedavyasa is said to have commenced his Brahma Sutra composition on the Gurupoornima day. Shankaracharya, who wrote the first Bhashya for Brahma Sutra, he also started writing the Bhashya on the Gurupoornima day. Generally, there are 4 months commencing from Gurupoornima when the entire land of Bharat will be covered by thick clouds. Previously, sannyasis used to live, ascetics used to live in hermitages in the forest environments. They used to be traveling, but during these 4 months, they are supposed not to travel at all. The tradition says that they should not cross flowing water. That means they should be right within their hermitage. Disciples and seekers go to them, as all of you have come here today, and good sannyasis who are capable of disseminating Brahmajnana, the supreme reality knowledge, they are supposed to read at least once the Upanishads, the 10 Upanishads, the Upanishads, maybe Shvetashudara also the 11th one, then Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutras at least once. While they are reading, they will also explain it to their disciples. Now, one time reading is absolutely necessary because these truths are supposed to be repeatedly contemplated upon, reflected upon. Only then they will come to our rescue any time you want. It is not that the books are written and you read them like any other book that you take from the library. The messages will have to become one with your mind, intelligence and inner personality. It has to work out a revolution, a reformation, a refinement, bringing about expansion on the one hand, elevation on the other, and ultimately the supreme enlightenment. This is very, very important. Now, in order to have it, one time listening or one time reading will not be sufficient. So, even the sannyasis, teachers and the others are supposed to read the Prasthanatrayam, the 3 texts I spoke to you about, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutras at least once. If there is anything worthy in our language, in our country, in our civilization, it is the knowledge part of it, which is represented first by the Vedas, secondly by the other 2 texts. Even Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharatam. We also have 2 epics, one is Mahabharatam, another is Ramayanam. Then we have a number of Puranas, and about 1400 years back, Srimad Bhagavatam was written somewhere in the south, incorporating 80% of the text is completely devoted to the message of the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras and the Bhagavad Gita. All these texts, they are actually representing the great culture of our land. If Vedavyasa Maharshi had made a huge monumental, constructed a building, that building would have been eaten up by nature, swallowed up by time. Because he happened to write literature, he happened to write his thought process in the form of a great epic on the one hand, Vedic composition also. People have been learning it generation after generation, imbibing it, pursuing it, practicing it, perfecting it, and then disseminating it for the benefit of all the others. So generation after generation, countless generations have passed since these texts were composed in the prehistoric, from the immemorial times. And generation after generation it has been learned on the one hand, imbibed also. Whoever spoke about it, like all of you have come here today, if somebody began to speak about the great culture of the land, many people happened to come and listen to him. They found a sense of identity, an attunement, a kind of a oneness, a great benefit that they found, a benefit which neither money, nor family, nor external acquisitions will be able to provide. Because of the supreme value and relevance, others also took to it. Some of them perfected it, they started disseminating it, like that it went on. I happened to see my Gurudev in Calcutta many years back. I found him to be an ascetic who was not given to speaking as your Swamiji does now. I have been a speaking Swamiji alone, you can say, also writing. But my Gurudev, when I saw him, he was in his 60s, I never found him writing or speaking at all, except answering the letters. Nothing else I saw. He was always standing on the head, doing his tapasya, sometimes playing a sitar, otherwise playing a harmonium and singing. That's all how I saw him. a full-fledged Brahmanista as he was. I sought initiation Diksha from him. After getting Diksha, my life started. I also started doing what he did. But perhaps in a reduced measure. I was working in my office. If he was standing on his head and contemplating for many hours of the day, 10, 12, 16 hours perhaps, I was standing on my head for perhaps half an hour. But I used to meditate maximum for 2.5 hours on working days and 4 hours on holidays. This was my practice. I never believed in reading, nor did I want reading at all. I was given to the practice and realizing the truth. The truth has to be realized in one's own heart. And I already have the equipment for it. The mind on the one hand, intelligence on the other, and an intense fervor for the purpose. What more do I want? So I was given to a practical meditational life. So I got it from him. Just like Nirvisheshananda Swamiji told you in the beginning, a lamp can be lit only by other flame. So I got perhaps in my heart a flame kindled by him. And that flame I started developing, perhaps preserving it, intensifying it, reinforcing it, expanding it. And if he was not a speaker and a traveler, his Shishya became a very good speaker and a very good traveler. We are all called Paramahamsa Parivrajakas in the sense that we are supposed not to sit in a place for the benefit of the world. We are supposed to be traveling and moving about. Parivrajana. This is supposed to be our nature. So I became one. In this way, generation after generation, this Brahma Vidya has been disseminated on the one hand, imbibed on the other, then pursued, practiced and perfected and realized by the seekers. And some of them started disseminating it in turn for the benefit of the others. And it has come out like that. How many generations have passed is impossible to say. Vedas belong to a prehistoric time. When you say prehistoric, nobody can say anything about it. Was it 10,000 years back or a million or a billion years back? History has nothing to say. Keep quiet. You have nothing to say. It is prehistoric. So it is for us to say how long it is. Historians can never speak anything about it. So this kind of a tradition is repeatedly brought home to our memory as also mine by Gurupoornima. So Gurupoornima is a call for austerity. It's a call for personal discipline. You may go to the temple, you may go on Tirtha Yatras, etc. But Gurupoornima tells you, sit in a place wherever you are. Maximum you go to the Guru, live in his company. Ask him to speak to you the supreme words of truth. Try to listen to him, contemplate upon the message and bring about perfection in your own within, in your inner personality. What is a tapasya? In the tapasya you don't do any material at all. You only employ the limbs of your personality. Parvati did penance. How did she do it? She did it in Panchagri Madhya, they say, looking at the sun, lighting fire on all the four sides, looking at the sun. She was in Panchagri Madhya, that is said. That is a very powerful form of austerity. For Brahma Vidya, the austerity is only in your personality. Either it is in the sensory level or it is in the oral level, in the form of reading, swadhyaya, etc. Or it is in the form of a constant memory, memorization, remembrance of the supreme truth. Or it can be in the manner of trying to understand the propositions. When you try to understand the proposition, automatically it means what? You have to reflect upon, think about. Brahma vidu apnodi param. Param means the supreme. Is attained by whom? Brahma vidu. By the man who knows Brahman. What is Brahman? What is the supreme reality? How can the knowledge of supreme reality bestow upon me what I need in the form of something supreme in my life? So is the world non-supreme?